Welcome back, everyone. I'm so pumped to guide you through today's explainer. We're looking at something pretty crucial today, a hidden trap that catches so many independent artists while they're building their digital careers. You know, it looks like success on the outside, but underneath, it's basically a house of cards. So today we're unpacking exactly why you, as an independent artist, desperately need to run a platform dependency audit to protect your livelihood. Let's get right into it. Our source hits the nail right on the head with this observation. An artist who mistakes access to a platform for ownership of a business is renting more of the business than they may realize. Think about it. You spend years writing music, grinding for followers, uploading your catalogs, only to park massive chunks of that hard-earned business on servers you have zero control over. Convenience has, quietly created this huge vulnerability for modern musicians. You might feel like you own your business, but if you're entirely relying on some platform's tools, well, you're really just renting space. So, I want you to ask yourself this, the ultimate disaster recovery question. If your absolute favorite, most relied upon platform changed its pricing, tweaked its algorithm, or literally just vanished tomorrow, would your music business survive? This question right here is exactly why every indie artist needs an audit. It's a total wake-up call to just how fragile our digital setups really are. Section 1. The illusion of ownership. We need to totally reframe how we think about a modern music career. Because, let's be real, it doesn't just look like a band making records and playing gigs anymore, right? It operates way more like a massive digital supply chain. Just look at your infrastructure, master files, metadata, customer records, publishing info, email permissions, sales history. It's a lot to juggle. But here's the kicker. Artists routinely leave all these vital pieces on servers they don't actually control. If your metadata only lives inside your distributor's dashboard, or say your customer records are locked inside a ticketing app, that company is now a dependency in your supply chain. If you don't hold the backups for these 6 things, you don't actually own your operation. Section 2. The 5-service test. Let's do a quick mental exercise here. Imagine waking up tomorrow to one of those super cheerful corporate emails from your favorite tech company announcing they are sunsetting their product. You know, Silicon Valley's polite way of saying they're destroying a tool you rely on. If that hits your inbox, could you actually recover your music and your metadata? Sure, technically, you own the copyright to your songs. But practical, real-world ownership? That requires you to possess the actual assets needed to operate that copyright. If your only high-res artwork or your correct ISRC codes live inside a closing distributor account, you haven't built a business, you've basically built a digital escape room for yourself. Okay, next part of the test. Could you obtain a useful record of your transactions? It's funny, artists love withdrawing their money from a platform, which obviously is great, but they almost always leave the actual transaction data behind. Moving platforms without exporting your transaction history is literally like tossing out the mat that shows exactly where your money came from. That data tells you which cities buy the most, what price points hit the sweet spot, and who your die-hard repeat supporters are. And finally, could you replace the service without losing your audience? This whole thing boils down to one word: portability. Portability means the economic value, and those relationships you spent years creating, they have to be able to move with you. When all the romantic speeches about being an artist are over and somebody finally opens the spreadsheet, portability is what actual ownership looks like.
Section 3. Real-world platform risks.
Now, if you think this is all just theoretical paranoia, let's look at some cold, hard proof. Platforms can, will, and do change directions without giving indie artists a vote. Take YouTube's Creator Music program, for example. In the past, they launched paid upfront licenses, which honestly looked like an incredible start to a useful micro-sync business for independent artists. But then, fast forward to August 10, 2026, those paid Creator Music licenses were fully deprecated. Just like that. The platform pivoted, shifting focus to no-cost and revenue-sharing tracks. A totally promising revenue stream just erased overnight. So the crucial takeaway here is this. If the doorway closes, the building is still standing. You should absolutely use platforms like YouTube for licensing for sure, but never, ever confuse a YouTube licensing feature with your actual licensing business. Your masters, your instrumentals, your metadata, those need to exist independently. Platforms should just be doorways to your business, not the entire building. Section 4. Followers are not fans. This is a big one. Let's shift to what might be the most vital distinction in this entire audit, because we really need to understand who you actually have a relationship with. There is a massive difference between rented and owned attention. A platform relationship, that's rented attention. It's your 20,000 followers. Sure, it looks great on a profile, but if the app disappears tomorrow, who can you actually contact? Exactly. Nobody. Conversely, an artist relationship is permission-based contact and portable continuity. You really need systems like making a scene's fan passport to bridge that gap from just renting attention to building a true artist-controlled relationship.
And why does that direct relationship matter so much? Well, how about 1.78 billion reasons? That is the staggering $1.78 billion paid directly to artists on Bandcamp by fans as of August 2026. This is undeniable, rock-solid proof that direct fan purchasing is massively alive when fans actually believe their purchase meaningfully supports you.
Let's break those numbers down a bit further. We're talking 15.7 million digital albums and 1.6 million vinyl records sold on Bandcamp in the previous year alone. That absolutely shreds the industry myth that consumers just don't buy music anymore. But the most important thing about Bandcamp isn't even the cash. It's that they offer a raw CSV export of your sales data and email addresses. That export feature, that represents true business ownership, because it means you can actually pack up your business intelligence and take it with you.
Section 5. The Platform Dependency Audit.
So, we know the risks and we clearly see the value of ownership. How do you actually execute this audit without getting completely overwhelmed? Well, our source suggests you definitely shouldn't try to rebuild your entire business in one weekend. Just follow these 3 steps. Step 1, find the weakest answer in your setup. Where is your absolute biggest vulnerability right now? Step 2, download those CSVs, export your permitted contacts, and back up your master files in a highly organized cloud archive. And step 3, build a direct artist website. Seriously, start by just fixing the weakest link in your supply chain today. Small acts of organization create enormous amounts of independence down the line. Doing this completely shifts how you operate. We're moving away from an access mindset, endlessly chasing playlists and begging for algorithmic favor, over to an ownership mindset, which is focused on durable revenue and portability. And this is vital for the future, especially as real AI licensing models develop. Think back to late 2025 and 2026, when we saw real AI agreements from Kaylee and the NMPA's arrangement with Udio. If AI licensing keeps expanding, the rights holders who win will be the ones who can quickly and cleanly prove what they own. Catalog hygiene is no longer just clerical busywork, guys. It's critical business infrastructure.
Section 6. Building your own hub.
I want to make something incredibly clear before we wrap up. We are absolutely not telling artists to avoid platforms. Go where the audience is. We are simply looking at how to use them safely. You need to adopt what's called the hub and spoke model. Your owned business, meaning your catalog, your website, your permission-based fan relationships, that has to be the permanent center hub. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, or even a studio marketplace like SoundBetter, those just act as connected spokes for reach and discovery. So even if you run, say, a remote mixing studio, you use the marketplace to find the customer, sure, but you maintain those project records and relationships independently.
If you take away just one thing from today's explainer, let it be this. Platforms are the pathways. You are the destination. You should absolutely take advantage of every single useful piece of tech out there, but you have to ensure you're never trapped by them. You must be the permanent address.
Which brings us to our final and most vital question. Look at your own setup right now. Think about the platforms you log into every single day. Are you ready to open the spreadsheet and take real control of your career? Don't wait for the next cheerful sunsetting email to find out if your business is portable. Start your audit today, break out of your digital escape room, and build a career that truly belongs to you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.